I do have the Nova Blast, if you've seen my prior video. There's one shoe I've wanted to try that's been out since, I want to say, spring of 19. So we're going on a year and a half. There's probably going to be a new version of this shoe sooner than later, which is why it finally went on sale. So, take a look. We got, okay, you already recognized ASICS Glideride. So, you might remember the ASICS, because the Meta Ride looked very similar to this, except there was more of a gap through here. It looked even more funky. You see the pronounced rocker in the shoe. So this is our, I think it's called guide sole technology. So pronounced rocker, big stack. It's going to be a 5 or 6 millimeter drop. Big stack, only that kind of lower range Hoka or Beacon-esque drop. But it's a really stiff midsole. As far as the idea is to increase efficiency through the foot strike by decreasing, I'm going to say, ankle flexion. You can tell it's been a minute. I forgot to do the horizontal video. So a little bit about the technology again. Guide sole, about a 5 millimeter drop, large stack in the heel. I will look that up when I do my kind of initial review on it, but I think it's around a 31-25 or something in that range if it's a 6 mil. So plenty of cushion. We do have some flytefoam. There are 2 different levels of foam in this shoe. I'm not sure if the flytefoam's on top or the bottom. And you'll see a little bit of gel wrapping around the heel. Definitely some padding in the upper. The tongue's padded as well. But this knit through here is actually thinner than I thought it would be. So we'll see how it gets on. About to go up for the first run. But I wanted to get a weight of the shoe before I get any moisture in it. Just to show this is supposed to be a heavier kind of road warrior shoe, but with increased efficiency, you're not supposed to notice it. It's gonna be one of my heaviest shoes. Let's see, I'm not going in pounds. 11.7 ounces. There you go, men's 11.5. So I've completed my first run in the ASICS Glideride. I do have a number of thoughts on this shoe. I'm excited I picked up this shoe. It's gonna be very different than anything I own. As far as step-in uniqueness of the shoe, it's right up there with the Saucony Endorphin Speed. Really the #1 step-in, like wow shoe for me has been the Vaporfly 4%, because those do feel like moon shoes. That first experience with Zoom X in such a light package. This was a different beast in itself as far as, let me go through the kind of main points on the shoe. So I do have one other ASICS. I do a video on the ASICS Nova Blast. A lot of differences between these two. Same company, same logo. They both have flytefoam, but different iterations of flytefoam, different drops, completely different experience. So, the ASICS Glideride is in fact a 5 millimeter drop package. This upper is a multi-engineered mesh, or multi-directional mesh. So the little areas where it looks like there's little breathable spots, it's actually just a cross direction, if you will, of the knitting. I found this upper to be a little bit warm, a little bit thick. This does have some nice dorsal toe box room. So my foot has a lot of volume in this area. So for me, it's really important. It's one reason I love Ultras, is that they tend to have a higher toe box. Sorry, I just had a protein snack after the run, a little bit full. So this tongue, very padded. It's not as crazy as the Triumph 17 to me, but super padded. I can feel the sweat just sticking my hand in the shoe. The run was only mid-70s and temperature-wise, So that tells me this is going to be a warm shoe to run in. Built up heel counter. There is a lot of padding, but it's very structured. I'm not a big fan of structured heels, structured uppers in general. They add weight and they can feel a little bulky. However, I do think that this heel counter is necessary for what I'll talk about in a moment as far as the structure of how this shoe performs. So let's get down into the midsole itself. So we have a softer flight foam up top. There's labeled as an EVA plate going through. I'm not sure what that means, because to me EVA is soft, but if you're feeling on the bottom, it looks like the bottom of this flight foam layer that you can observe through this decoupled groove. It's blue and it almost feels a little plasticky. Maybe that's what they're talking about, but really the take home here is that you can't bend this. I mean, it's firm, almost as if the whole shoe is one big plate. Finally, this lower layer here is also flight foam, but is much denser, much more resilient. So kind of similar to our Pegasus Turbo 2, having that softer layer up top and the firmer layer below. And that shoe is the Zoom X and the React. And this shoe is flight foam and denser flight foam. Now, if this may be gimmick, may not, but the gel on the heel, I feel like I could feel shock absorption in my head, maybe because I knew the gel was there. But on the run, I was kind of focusing on like how my joints felt impact-wise. So going through this midsole, super unique feel. So I just said, won't bend, big time rocker. Look at the shoe. You can't stand on the shoe without rolling off of it. So it feels like you're rolling off a cliff. Heavy shoe, 11.7 ounces and 11.5 men's. I just kind of weighed it compared to the Nova Blast. It's about an ounce heavier than my Nova Blast. It's about 2.5 ounces heavier than my Fuel Cell Prism, which is my other most recent shoe purchase that I did not do a video on. As I mentioned at the beginning, I've been a little underwhelmed with this one. I love the softness of the Fuel Cell. There's a little bit of medial posting here, and it may be causing me some knee pain, maybe in my head. Definitely a flatter toe box, lighter, but a little more restricted as far as you don't see that same room dorsally. So I'm not loving this shoe. That's why I haven't done a video on it per se. But a lot of folks do enjoy it. I could see how it could be a do-it-all as far as light, versatile option. So back to the Glideride. The run I did today was just a 5-kilometer run. The reason I haven't been doing videos lately is my new job. I do travel a lot more. And this weekend, we actually installed new floors in my master bedroom. So it was a great test for this shoe to see, as far as increased efficiency, easy runner, could I get through the 5K with how stiff and sore my hamstrings and quads are after all the weekend of work. And they felt just fine. Breathing wise, fine. My heart rate wasn't too high. I wasn't exactly flying or anything like that, but I was able to get through the run. My goal for these would be a long run workhorse shoe. And long run, again, I'm using loosely. I've only been doing 10 to 15 miles a week. So my long runs are only going to be, if I'm being smart, 4 to 5 miles. I shouldn't be going out and doing a 10K when I'm only running, 10 to 15 miles a week. And that's some good advice, as echoed on the Running with James YouTube channel. He discusses the long run should only be maybe 20 to 30% of your total distance for the week. So if you're only running 20 miles on the week, you shouldn't be going out busting a 10-mile run. That's asking for injury. It's possibly how I did get injured back in January when I hurt my hip. One more take home on this shoe. Again, unique step and feel, very firm, rocker ride. Jury's still out as far as do I feel like it's more efficient. I will monitor my heart rate on these runs because I have a lot of runs on similar 5K and 4-mile routes, so 3 to 4 mile routes. And I can kind of see how my heart rate performs between this shoe versus other shoes. I know there's a lot of other factors, but just kind of a gauge and how I feel. Is it easy? Today it felt really easy rolling from one stride to the next. Feels like there's not a lot of wasted energy. The guide sole does. So if you want a super flexible, natural ride, this is not the shoe for you because it does guide you along, as in it rolls you through the strike. I try to be a midfoot, forefoot striker. I think a lot of that is Everyone says they want a natural foot strike. In reality, I'm probably a midfoot striker. I can consciously make a decision. I'm going to run on the front of my feet. I can consciously run on my heels. This shoe works very well for me for any strike between heel and forefoot. The forefoot, you're going to land and then kind of roll through. Whereas a midfoot, it actually works pretty well for a heel to midfoot striker. 40 Runs is a running YouTube channel from the UK, I believe. I don't know if I think he's in England, but he loves these shoes. He compares them against like every other shoe that comes out. This shoe always wins, spoiler alert. But ASICS shoes probably gonna last, I would say, at least 500 miles if you wanted to. Unique ride, much firmer than a lot of others, but that top layer, it's plush enough, soft enough, that I feel like it's gonna soak up the shock and it's gonna decrease that energy lost from sinking in. You don't get that sinking in sensation with this shoe. So far I'm really excited. I'm happy with my purchase. One mention, I will show that I've had the little paper insert, put it back in the shoe. When I was running, I noticed creasing on the mesh around the left foot. My left foot is a little bit longer, so of course I had this paranoid feeling of, is my foot too close to the end of the shoe? We'll see, jury's out. I had the same sensation on the Nova Blast, and once I kind of broke them in per se, after 10 to 20 miles, I didn't notice anything. My toe doesn't hurt today. I just did note that my foot, I noticed the creasing, and then my toe's a tiny bit closer to the end of the shoe, but I still had some space at the end. So if you have any questions about the ASICS Glideride and why did I finally pick it up when it's been out for a year and a half, well, it's been $150 almost exclusively until recently. So I guess the new ones are probably coming out soon, but I found these on sale for about $120. And I've seen them also for about $105 since then. So I think the price now is reasonable. It is a heavier shoe, but again, exciting, unique experience from ASICS. All right, see you in the next one. Peace.
I can't find me,